motorcycle work as good as it can, crushing it. Hey, Scotty Parker just went by his friend, Jay Springsteen. And anybody's race.
They actually take their left hand. Oh, and Parker goes down. Atherton ran into the back end of Parker. I don't know if that put him down or not. Both riders into the bales. Parker is just laying there. Here's another quick look.
Yeah, he's in the corner free of, you know, there's no contact.
No one
there.
hit him.
Now, it looks like he just slid down, and yeah, Kevin's too close. There's nowhere for him to go. They get caught up in it. Joe Kopp got the scare of his life, and I think you'll see, yeah, that's Davey Camlin. There must have been something on the racetrack because that's very uncharacteristic.
One more time. Watch this. Yeah, he's all alone, although it's hard to tell from that
You can see the rear
angle.
wheel go up and smoke. Kopp's getting the thrill of his life right here. Kevin and Scotty are down. They're headed for the bales. You know, Camlin, you know, you'd think there'd be no reason for him to do that. There must be some oil on the racetrack for that to happen.
Now, see the black mark on the back of Parker's jacket? That's a tire mark, I believe, off Kevin Atherton's bike. We're going to see it again from the onboard camera.
Yeah, Scotty gets into the turn. Everything's going good. Uh-oh, we're doing the reverse look at the racetrack.
Yeah, there goes our camera. You owe us $2,500, Warner. When we come back, we'll have the restart. Both riders are okay. Parker with a bent bar, but they'll fix that. Restart of this mile dirt track race. They're in single file. This is the way they crossed the line prior to the red flag. Now, at the end of the pack, and I'll tell you about that, the reason why, Scott Parker and Atherton a little bit later along with J.R. Schnabel. Let's watch the riders sort themselves out before we get into that. Jay Springsteen had the #1 position, and he retains it as he leads the field through corners number 1 and 2 and down the back chute. Now, the reason Parker and Atherton had to go to the rear of the pack on the restart is because they caused the red flag and caused the race to be halted.
Exactly. And Schnabel lined up behind them because they determined it was his oil that was leaking on the racetrack, which caused the the crashes.
Yeah, actually, they had to repair some damage to the cases of Schnabel's motorcycle, but he was able to get back into it, too. This could be a tremendous break for Jay Springsteen. He has admitted that sometimes in these long mile races, he gets tired. Now, he's had a little break, and that could be a major break. He could easily win this race.
Well, it looks like it right now. He's leading it, and he's looking like he's in great condition. But a lot of guys made some subtle changes to the bike, tire changes. There's a lot of factors that are going to be involved. This is essentially an 8-lap shootout, and all the little minor adjustments that we make during this break in the action will come to play.
Parker and Atherton are still well back in the pack. Using the draft, can they catch the leaders? Can they be a factor before this is over?
Yes, they can. You know, the accordion affected the draft. As long as the leaders don't get too far away, it's still anybody's race.
And right there, it looks like a breakaway with the first 3. Now, if that happens, it's going to be very difficult to utilize the draft to get up with the front 3. It is Jay Springsteen holding down the #1 position. No one has led for as long as Springsteen, and in as many as, you know, consecutive laps. They have not been able to draft by him, and now the field begins to catch up. Where did that where did that gap go between the front 3 and those riders behind him, Bill? It has disappeared.
Well, it's just erased. You looked up at Scott Parker. He's tearing away his face shield, and, you know, nobody's out of this yet. There's still 9 guys in it. Camlin's back in 4th place. Moorhead's up there. Kevin's up there. Will Davis is up there. Scotty's creeping up into the picture. You know, there's still anybody can go in to win this racetrack.
Now, that was Steve Beattie that slid off the groove and went high. He had to tuck in behind the rest of the field. Steve Moorhead, the leader. Here comes Jay Springsteen. Here comes Dave Camlin. Here comes Atherton. Here comes Will Davis. Here comes everybody. Joe Kopp, and right there, right there with 4 laps to go, Scott Parker is now a factor. You called that one right. What a race, what race action we are seeing here at Springfield, Illinois. The Springfield Mile, it gets no better. This is the one race, if there is ever a race that you want to win, this is it. This is King of Dirt Tracks.
Well, it's got such a history to it. It's been, you know, probably more races have been enacted on this racetrack than any other single venue on the circuit.
Kevin Atherton from the back of the pack takes the lead. Atherton is your leader with 3 laps to go. Davey Camlin settles into 2nd place. Joe Kopp is right there in 3rd. 4th place was Springer as the field works down the back chute. The crowd all standing. If they aren't, they're nuts. They're seeing a shootout like I've never seen before. Scott Parker right off the pace. There's the front 4. But, folks, there are 5, 6 guys behind him that are still, let's make it 3. Steve Moorhead was one of them that are still capable of winning this race. Look at this pack as they head down toward the finish line. They'll get the 2-lap signal, and Scott Parker just went from 7th to 3rd.
The real irony is that the guys who crashed, Scott Parker and Kevin Atherton, are now running 1st and 3rd. Squeezed in between is Davey Camlin, but anyone can still win this race. There's 7 guys still involved in this lead draft.
And here comes Parker. One more pass, and Parker takes over the number 2 position. Atherton out front. Scott Parker running 2nd, and we're looking at Davey Camlin, who just eked by, and Will Davis one more time. He did that in race number 1. You saw him slide off the groove. Hey, we're setting it up. Final lap of race competition. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys in contention. Springsteen is in the number 4 position. I believe that's Atherton there in 3rd at this point. And Scott Parker leads the field down the back chute. Is that where you want him to be?
Well, I'm sure that's where he wants to be, but coming in the last... Whoa! That was
a bump there.
Davey Camlin, yeah, underneath him. Oh, that got pretty close.
Pretty close. Camlin wanted to lead this thing yesterday coming out of 4 in race number 1. He did, and he went on to take the win. Now he's trying to draft by Atherton. Whoa, 3 riders headed for the finish line. Bill, maybe you can pick out the winner. I sure can't. Let's look at it again in slow motion.
Well, Camlin comes out for the draft pass, and Scott comes out for his draft pass. It just depends on where the finish line is. They're coming by. It's Camlin by a nose.
So Davey Camlin, the double winner at Springfield, Illinois. He has his victory flag and is celebrating with a Corbin crew. We'll be back after this.
24. Brought to you by SuperTrap Tunable Exhaust Systems. Tune in, gear up, and take off.
Welcome back to Springfield, Illinois, where that man, Davey Camlin, has just wrapped up the Super Trap National.
2 times, baby. Whoa, was that a hell of a race or what? Woo, Scotty. When I saw Scotty and Kevin, I just thought, man, how the heck did they do that? But you know, they're the 2 best, and I just thought, all right, well, I think I can get by Kevin. If he's leading off 4, I'd rather be leading, make them beat me. But he got on the outside of me. And all right, so be it then. We'll just beat you to the line, and we did it. Woo!
Well, Camlin's happy. Why not? He's just wrapped up both ends of the Super Trap National. Camlin, Atherton, Parker, Springsteen, and Moorhead. They're the top 5. Let's take a look at the rest of the finishing positions. Kopp, Davis, Beatty, Landis, Butler. And now let's go to Kevin Atherton, who finished 2nd here at Springfield.
Kevin Atherton, what can I say? You and Scotty come from the back to the front. It was a great job. You missed it by, I would have to say, less than an inch. How do you feel?
Oh, what a great race, you know. To come from where Scott and I were to be on the box, you know, and, you know, that was so close there at the finish, you know. Like I said, I could have swerved, I could have done anything, but, you know, what a great race.
And a great race, too, for Scott Parker, who will leave here despite that crash with a healthy points lead. But you got to admire the way that guy rode in that main event.
Scotty Parker, come from last to 3rd, you got to be happy with that. I sure do. Like you say, when you take and go from on the ground to taking and running 3rd, you got to be real happy. And I think you got a great smile on me and Kevin both, because we both were on the ground and put it back together and run them boys down and run a 2nd and 3rd out of there. And congratulations to Camlin. He did a great job too. You know, he had the thing rolling, and hey, to be from on the ground to run in the back of the pack, or you know, starting out and then run 2nd is our 3rd. That's great, man. It's awesome, and just goes to show you how good Bill Warner is. We changed a couple things even while we were down. You know, we said, hey, let's change it. Let's make this motorcycle better, and it was better.
Well, he did a great job in the last lap running over Scott Parker's foot. Look at this. Oh, wow. He moved him right out of there, didn't he, Bill?
It was close. You know, nobody went down, so I guess that's a safe pass.
That's the way the series, that pass, that tight racing, is representative of the way the series has gone to date and the way I expect it to go throughout the remaining races.
This has been the most competitive series in recent history. I think there's 5 or 6 guys with a shot at this championship. Nobody's giving an inch. This is just going to be some great racing right down to the wire.
Well, I'll echo that, Bill. It has been a super weekend of racing here at the Super Trap Nationals. On behalf of Larry Pegram down in the pits and Bill Werner up here in the booth with me, I'm Larry Myers. So long, everyone, and hope you enjoyed the coverage from the Super Trap Nationals. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Despain. Welcome to Bike Week. Welcome to a weekend that was planned as a celebration of dirt track racing and a bold step into the sport's future. The Illinois Motorcycle Dealers Association, promoters of the Magic Mile at DuQuoin, created a double-header weekend with a big Saturday night party for the fans and plans on Sunday to run the first 50-mile race in the modern history of the sport. But under the broiling sun of a Midwestern heat wave, tragedy intervened, and this weekend became a demonstration of the courage, the resilience, and the pride of dirt track racers and their fans. We'll have the complete story of the weekend, including the emotional 10 laps of action and the remarkable 10-wide finish that kicked off this dirt track doubleheader. Elsewhere, tracker, this is hallowed ground. It is the ultimate reward for those brave enough to challenge their competition handlebar to handlebar at 130 miles an hour. But on this sad yet remarkable Saturday afternoon at DuQuoin, there was no traditional awarding of the trophy and spraying of champagne. Instead, we all find ourselves recalling two previous celebrations here in 1994 and 1995. In the 94 running of the DuQuoin Mile, 25-year-old Davey Camlin claimed the first of his 4 career Grand National dirt track victories. He did it in spectacular fashion.
Who wants to be where in turn 3 the last time, Bill?
Well, I think Chris, with the points and everything, he can take a shot at leading this thing. Camlin, on the other hand, I think he's got to go all out. He's either going to run the last turn as hard as he can if he gets past, like he's doing right now by Chris Carr. He's got to go for it. He's got to get on his tail early, and he's got to take a shot at the line.
Here they come to the finish. Carr leads it down. Camlin will be his challenger.
The race was a typical mile track thriller, pitting the emerging Camlin, number 27, against the sport's established stars. Davey's winning pass moved him into the elite ranks of Grand National winners and helped lift him to a then career best top 10 finish in points. That was a hugely popular victory. The Rock Island, Illinois boy beating the sport's best in front of the home state fans. For good measure, Camlin came back to win DuQuoin again the following year, 1995. But on Saturday at DuQuoin, this track that he loved so much, Davey Camlin died instantly in a horrible 6-rider crash on the front straightaway. Injured in that mishap were Kevin Atherton, the 5th-ranked rider in the series, who suffered a badly broken right leg, Brett Landis, who sustained a collapsed lung and shoulder injury, and Johnny Murphrys, whose year has been plagued with injury. He was treated for a broken arm and released from the hospital on Sunday morning. Stunned by the worst Grand National crash in years, the fans sat quietly in near 100-degree heat, patiently awaiting completion of the accident investigation and the return of the ambulances. When the riders, many of whom might have preferred not to ride at all, finally came to the line for a scheduled 25-lap final, they had a plan to reward the fans for their patience and also pay tribute to their fallen friends. With Camlin's spare bike parked at the finish line, Grand National champ Scott Parker led the field in a lap of honor. And as they circled the track, the fans were informed that the race had been cut from 25 laps to 10 and thus would pay no championship points. The fan reaction to substantially less racing than they had paid to see, a standing ovation that went on for the length of the lap, where it was also announced that the riders would donate the entire main event purse to a fund for Camlin's family and the 3 injured riders. With that, the green light flashed. The 10 miles that followed, not really a race at all, though the charge to the first turn seemed plenty serious. The field spanned the dirt track generations. Number 69, Nicky Hayden, was among the early leaders, the youngest of the Grand National stars, celebrating his 18th birthday this week. At the other end of the spectrum, the oldest guy on the tour is number 42. At age 43, Steve Moorhead was to be one of the weekend's biggest heroes, and he made a point of taking the lead early and upping the pace to something approaching a real race. Then, one by one, nearly every rider in the field moved forward to take the lead. Every lap, a different one of Davey Camlin's friends and fellow competitors led the charge past the park number 27 bike. The last lap, most amazing of all. The front runners thundered down to a 10-wide finish, and though it was obviously staged, it drew another standing ovation from the crowd.